past forever. Shelf 6 and 7 have always been kind of a confusing thing for most people trying to set these. Back in the day, we used to have a plastic acrylic thing that sat on shelf 6 and 7 that, included the little tiny cigars and a few other items. And then they got away from that and went to the little acrylic cups. It was like a little square cup that would sit on the front, and so you'd have 8 of those that hangs off the tag rail. So a lot of fuel centers don't even have those, and then they were kind of hard to locate in the system if we were trying to replace them. So Brian, he found or was nice enough to get us these things called tilt trays. And so what a tilt tray is basically it's a shelf modification that we use that has pushers built in, and then it also has these square cups built into the front of the tray to hold the 25 pack of single cigars, if that makes sense. So this attaches to the main shelf, and it is shelf 6 and 7. So if you look at your planogram there, if you count up to shelf 6, you'll see all it's just a little picture. It's like building blocks that they use to build the planograms, right? So they've got to show something there, so that's what they do. So it looks like 2 separate shelves. But again, this is a combined shelf that'll be both shelf 6 and 7 that'll be inside one pusher tilt tray combo, if that makes sense. Am I making sense to everybody? Okay. So if we're counting shelves, it will have, like in this example, the newer sets with the black shelves have 12 total shelves. So some of our older stores have a different POG. It says a 13 shelf planogram. Most of those are either white or silver out in the field. So those will have a flip up header at the top that has the 13th shelf. But again, the 2 shelves are combined. So a 13 shelf planogram will really have 12 physical shelves when we add this. And then the 12 shelf planogram will have 11 physical shelves when we add this, if that makes sense. To get these attached to the shelves, so I got some of the newer style shelves out of the warehouse, fortunately. So just kind of want to go through how to attach these to the shelves. So there's 2 different methods of attachment. The first method is, and the best method, with the shelving. So in this example, anybody tell me how many facings we got on that?
14 total across.
Yeah, so what about just on the little cups, shelf 6? 9 total facings, okay. So in your boxes that you'll receive, each fuel center will get 2 of the 4-pack pushers that you won't be able to get out of the box. So this is just the 4-pack, and then you'll get 1. And if you want to pass that guy around, that's easier to kind of see. Get 1 single atom to attach to one of the 4-packs. So you'll get 2 4-packs and a single to make the 9 facings. So each shelf will have 9 total facings. So the way this thing attaches is just on the side. So, and I always like to put it on the end. So it'll be on the far right when you go to install it. And I like to put this on first because it's almost impossible to put on if you don't. So it's just got some tabs in there that go into the side rail there. And then it holds on. The other nice thing about this is the whole tray slides forward and kind of locks into place so that you can get your pins in. This is much easier to do in the store when it's attached to the shelf. I don't know if anybody can see on there, on the camera, but there's little slots in the shelf that need to line up with the tilt tray itself. So once everything is in place, then you can set your pins.
pins now.
Little pins, yeah. And these things are kind of fragile. So if you take a look, they've got the little. So it's a push pin that grabs onto the shelf through the bottom of the tilt tray. Show you guys those. So these little pins push in to the slots in the shelf. You only get 4 per tray. So if you break one, then now you only have 3. And I don't know where these come from. Brian, do you know if we can get extra pins by any chance? You look through the bottom of this, so you have the front. So the front lines up here, and that allows the tray to sit off the front of the shelf a little bit. And then, of course, we just want to have the shelf centered on the unit. Then the other thing we like to do is put our. We need to cut the staff strips so that each shelf is individual, right? So we would have. One shelf will get the 4-pack, the other shelf will get the 5-pack, and then you have a total of 9 shelves. So they're going to be independent in the middle, so you don't want your staff strip going across the entire front. So that way the clerks can pull this side out independently if you need to. Otherwise, then they have to bring the whole tray out, and they end up they can either pull the staff strips off, or they'll end up pulling the front of the tray off, which breaks it. So I cut them into the long side with the 5 is obviously a little bit longer, and then I use the sticky dots on the back to attach it. The bottom shelf, you can kind of see here how the bottom shelf is pretty much perfect, and then the top shelf kind of hangs over a little bit, but it works out really well. So we've tested this in the field at a few stores, and it really works out pretty great. You'll just have to cut your staff strip, for the channel to fit. And then the sticky dots, please don't use tape. So we have seen stores, where they just tape the staff strip on. That kind of doesn't work out very well. If we use the sticky dots, we get a better result. I think that's about it for the staff channels, if that makes sense. So yeah, just measure them up, cut them, and then just cut the staff strip to fit. So any questions on that? It seems pretty straightforward with everything, but this is a big investment from Altria. So these little tilt trays are kind of expensive. I do have some extra in the warehouse if we happen to break one, but we want to make sure that each one of our fuel centers, regardless of the shelf type, gets 100% execution with this.